Another interesting story, legal story related to the failed former president that I briefly want to talk about. A judge has ruled that Donald Trump indeed must give evidence in this a defamation lawsuit related to alleged rape by Donald Trump. The Hill reports a federal judge has denied former President Trump's motion to pause the proceedings of a defamation suit against him from a woman who has accused him of rape while appeals over the case play out, setting him up for a deposition next week. I know Trump was recently deposed by Letitia James. This is another deposition in another case. Now, as a reminder, this is not a criminal rape case. This is a lawsuit for defamation related to the things Donald Trump said about a rape accuser, E. Jean Carroll. U.S. District Judge, writes The Hill, Lewis Kaplan, ruled yesterday that Trump's argument didn't meet the legal threshold required for a stay to be issued. Trump has been pushing for the U.S. to be substituted in E. Jean Carroll's lawsuit against him because the comments Trump made denying her claim and criticizing her happened when he was president. Trump's argument is, I shouldn't be the defendant in this lawsuit for the things I said about E. Jean Carroll, including, if I recall correctly, that she's not really his type, as if that's a reason. Rather than saying, I don't rape people, he said, she's not my type. Doesn't make sense that I would have raped her. Insane. He says he was president at the time, and thus really the federal government should be the defendant rather than him. The Hill notes the details of the case here. Carroll accused Trump of raping her at a Manhattan department store in the 90s. Trump has countered by accusing Carroll of lying and making remarks criticizing her appearance. Yeah. Trump requested that proceedings in the defamation case that Carroll filed be paused while the D.C. Court of Appeals weighs whether Trump was acting in his official capacity. When I said she was too ugly to rape, I was functioning in an official capacity. So the federal government should be the defendant. That's where we are in 2022 at this point in time. Kaplan wrote in his ruling, the court could rule either way on the question, but Trump gave no reason for him to conclude that the ruling would be in his favor. He also found that Trump failed to show a meaningful threat of irreparable injury if a stay is not put in place. Listen, you can't sue me for defamation because I was acting in my official capacity as president at that time. Now, what do we expect he will do if indeed he is deposed? Probably plead the fifth. At his last deposition with Letitia James, Trump pled the fifth about 400 times. Trump previously has said, only the mob pleads the fifth. You don't plead the fifth if you're innocent. His own experience with the deposition changed his mind on that, surprisingly. The important thing to remember is that as a defendant in a civil suit, pleading the fifth may not be as useful to him as it can be in a criminal case. I heard from a criminal defense attorney who said, this is a criminal defense attorney who wrote to me and said, David, sir, with tears in his eyes, he said, David, sir, when I defend people criminally, juries are given instructions that the lack of testimony from my client or pleading the fifth cannot be used to draw negative inferences or to point towards guilt. You can't hold against them that they don't testify or that they pled the fifth. In a civil lawsuit, Trump or whoever pleading the fifth or refusing to answer questions can be used to draw a negative inference and theoretically as part of a guilty verdict. We're thinking many steps ahead, but an important difference in terms of civil versus criminal. Now, I know many of you are wondering, what about the criminal aspect of this? To be honest, I don't know where that stands. I know that there are questions as to statute of limitations. This alleged event happened during the 90s and a number of other obstacles. But what we're dealing with right now is a civil suit for defamation wherein I'm sort of breaking this down to its kernel of truth. Trump sort of said, E. Jean Carroll is not attractive enough for me to actually have raped. She's not my type, which is a crazy thing to say. We'll have more on this and other stories from today on our Instagram. You can find that at David Pakman Show. And we will be right back after this short break. One of our sponsors is Paired, the app for couples. Every day, Paired gives you and your partner questions, quizzes, games to have fun, to stay connected, to deepen your conversations and get to know each other better. What's great about it is you don't even have to be in the same room, especially with the baby right now. My girlfriend and I are quite busy, and Paired really helped us to stay connected. You get a daily question to answer. You can't see your partner's answer until you answer yourself, and they're questions about everything: relationship, life, intimacy, other things. And all of the exercises were developed by academic psychologists and expert relationship therapists as well. Questions like, what makes you feel lucky in your relationship? Great when you want to remember and have gratitude, a really great thing. What's an activity you could try together this month? Actually gets people thinking about things to do. It can go in really funny directions as well, but it just always feels like time well spent. Go to paired.com/Pacman to download the app and get a 7-day free trial. The link is down below.